A beautiful morning to you, Alv, and welcome to yet another moment of sport personality right here on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Emmanuel Michael. Glad to be here this morning to, of course, bring you yet another rich edition of sport personality right here. And on the show this morning, our sport personality is no other person than João Fonseca. He became the youngest ATP 500 champion since 1990. He is, of course, a Brazilian tennis player. So we are going to take a look at the life and career of the young tennis star. Well, we'll do all of that when I'm back from this short break. Don't go anywhere. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. I told you earlier in the intro that our sport personality for today is no other person than the Brazilian João Fonseca Guimarães, because Fonseca was born in 21st of August 2006. He is a Brazilian professional tennis player. He has a career-high ATP singles ranking of a world number 28, achieved on 27th of October 2025, and a double rankings of 434 achieved in 26th of February 2024. He is currently number one single player from Brazil. Fonseca has won 2 ATP Tour singles titles at the 2025 Argentina Open and 2025 Swiss Indoor, as well as the 2024 Next Gen final in that particular one. But then let's take a look at the life of João Fonseca, because you know why? I told you that Fonseca, of course, was born in Ipanema, Rio de Janeiro, to parents Roberta and Cristiano Fonseca. His father is a CEO and a co-founder of IP Capital Partners, the first independent hedge fund in Brazil. Fonseca began playing tennis at the age of 4 at Rio de Janeiro Country Club, which was next to his home. All right, so the young champ began his career at a very early age. At the age of 4, he's already learning how to, of course, handle the baton and the racket rather, and right from that age 4, he continued his, prowess and continued to dream big of becoming a professional tennis player. And now I can tell you that that dream is gradually coming to fruition. And of course, let's talk about his career so far, because Fonseca reached the final of the boys doubles at the 2023 Australian Open Junior, partnering with Belgian Alexander Blocks. Later on that year, he won the boys single title at the 2023 US Open with a victory over American Leonard Tien in the final. So he became the 3rd Brazilian player major junior champion after Thiago Fernandes and Thiago Sibos wide in that very order. Fonseca was named the 2023 World Champion of the ITF Junior Circuit. At age 17, he was the first Brazilian to finish the season as number 1 in the ITF Junior rankings. Fonseca made his ATP debut at the 2023 Rio Open after receiving a wild card for singles main draw, and also appeared in doubles main draw, entering as lucky losers with Matheus Alves in that very one. So he got of course an invitation as one of the best losers, but then he was able to do his bid. And of course, at that very young age, when he began his professional career, the coach then was also very optimistic about the excited talent that have come to grace the world of long tennis out there in Brazil. And proper care was taken. He continued to be nurtured, he continued to be coached and trained, and the young man keep believing in himself, what he will achieve for his country, talking about Brazil. In fact, at some point, he one day, thought about the fact that, yes, this is his long-time dream, and it is time for him to take the bull by the horn. And that is where he determined that at early age, in every competition that he competes, he's going to do his best. Of course, make sure that he comes top in that particular one. And I can tell you that it's been very good for Fonseca since he began his professional career. And let's just talk about his 2024 season, because first ATP wins, where he got also the Next Gen final title. So in January 2024, the then 17-year-old Rio native reached the semi-finals of the Buenos Aires Challenger. his first in his career in this type of tournament. Until then, Fonsecao had reached the quarterfinals in 2 challengers, the first in 2022 in Sao Leopoldo, and the most recent in 2023 in Florianopolis, ranked number 655. At that moment, he made a second appearance in the main draw at the 2024 Rio Open. After receiving a wild card in singles and also in doubles qualifying with Marcelo Zoman, he recorded his first ATP and the first ATP 500 win over 7th seed Otto Fields in straight sets, giving away only 4 games. Excluding the Davis Cup, he became the first South American to claim an opening set 6 love against a top 50 ranked opponent before turning 18 years. Since the ATP rankings were first published in 1973, he also became the first player born in 2006 to win an ATP Tour match. Next, he defeated Christian Gavin in straight set to reach his first ATP quarterfinal. As a result, he moved a 300 position up, making him the youngest player in the top 350 in the rankings. So at 2024, when of course he got a wild card yet again, he was able to impress at the ATP 500 point ranking, and of course he's impeccable, and of course a great run for that 2024 actually took him from 660 something where he was ranked down to of course 350. What a massive leap, you want to say, jumping almost 300 places down to 350, and that is where he began to of course believe so much in himself that yes, he can do it, and he has what it takes to do it, beating some big name teams, big name players like Otto Fields, because at that tender age it could be very difficult for you as a young gem coming up against some of the biggest names that have made their mark in the world of any sport at all. But then he wasn't perturbed by the big name, talking about Otto Fields. He went out there, did his job, and at the end of it all, it paved way for him, because he leaped up from 600 and something where he was ranked to 350, becoming one of the youngest players to make the 350 ranking. So he continued that impressive run, and of course he became the second youngest ATP 500 quarterfinalist since the series began in 2009, and the first since Alexander Zverev made the last 8 in Hamburg in 2014. Days after the end of his run in Rio, Fonsecao was rewarded with a second consecutive ATP Tour tournament, a wild card at the 2004 Chile Open. So, courtesy of his impressive run, he was yet again given a wild card in the Chile Open in that particular one. So he continued his impeccable and of course a glorious run. So when you are doing pretty well, people or the organizers of some of those events definitely are keeping tracks with your progress, and that is the same case, the same faith with João Fonsecao. Because of his impressive run, he was given yet another wild card, yes, at the Chile Open in 2004, because they saw something great. He was exceptional and very spectacular while on the court. He was given a wild card yet again, and of course he made good use of it, and I can tell you that for sure. Later that very week, he officially announced his decision to fully turn pro, foregoing his ineligibility to play college tennis and urging his commitment to the University of Virginia. In March, at the 2024 Paraguay Open, Fonsecao defeated Argentine Roman Burruchaga to reach his first ATP Challenge final and made his top 300 debut at world number 288 on the 1st of April 2024. Of course, moving more than 50 position in the rankings. He lost to compatriot Gustavo Head in the championship match, ranked number 276. He received a wild card for the 2024 Tiriac Open in Bucharest, Romania, and reached the quarterfinals of an ATP Tour event for the second time, defeating sixth seed Lorenzo Sanogo. His third ATP Tour win, and fellow qualifier, talking about Rudu Abod. He also lost to the fourth seed, talking about Alejandro Tabilo. As a result, he reached the top 250 in the rankings. Fonseca received, of course, yet another wild card for the main draw of the 2024 Madrid Open, making his debut at the Masters 1000 and defeating American Alex Michelsen, recording his first win at this particular level. Ranked number 217 at the beginning of the grass season, he also received a wild card for the main draw of the 2024 Harlem Open, in that particular one. So you can see the impressive display of João Fonseca as he continued to, of course, move better, as he continued to improve from one game to another, from one tournament to another. And that is why the organizers, deemed it fit to, of course, keep giving him wild card in some of the competition. Because in 2024, rather, when he decided to, of course, turn professional, not too many saw that one coming, because they were thinking that, of course, he's going to pass through the college as well, because then he was still very much eligible to play for some of the university games and categories before he now continued to progress and turn to pro. But then he saw the opportunity and felt that he was ripe, to go professional in 2023 to 2024. So then he jumped up and became a professional, and not too many people believed then, because of his young age. But then the young man believed so much in himself, his ability, what he brings to the table, and felt that he can fight his way through to the top. And that is what, of course, happened. He reached the top 175 at the world number 166 in 1st of August 2024, climbing close to 50 position up, following lifting his maiden challenger title at 2024 Lexington Challenger. At 17 years old, he was the youngest challenger champion of 2024 season. So his impressive record continues. And Fonseca qualified for the 2024 Next Generation ATP final on the 29th of November 2024. Although the lowest ranked player, he won the title. This is massive. Yes, the lowest ranked player, but then he won the title. And that is to show you how, belief can turn things around for good if you truly believe in yourself. Not too many saw that one coming, but then one of the lowest ranked player in that tournament, but then that didn't deter him, because he went all the way to win that particular one. So the man continued to make waves, and as we speak right now, he's one of the most exciting talents in the world of long tennis, and the first ranked as we speak in Brazil, because I tell you, the young man is doing something great for himself, and you can't doubt the quality, the innate ability, of course, invested in this young talent, talking about João Fonseca. But then I'll take a quick break, of course, to try and re-establish a contact with our, Zoom guest this morning, so that we have his own side of, the story, as he tells us more about João Fonseca. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be back of course, to continue the exciting, yes, life and career of the young Brazilian, talking about João Fonseca.
Rural World presents Port Harcourt. Christ Compassion to the Rural World presents Port Harcourt. This is Selfless Love at the Adokiye Amesemaka Stadium from Monday, November 24th to 29th, 2025.
I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you visited me.
Lord, when did we ever see you to do all this?
Whatever you did for one of the least of these my brothers and sisters, you were doing it for me.
Distribution of items: 150,000 packs of rice, 150,000 packs of beans, 150,000 packs of gari, 150,000 clothing items, 10,000 bottles of oil, and much more. 600 free surgeries will be performed. Medical outreach, pastors conference, nightly crusades. Port Harcourt, this is Selfless Love Loading.
From the line.
All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Of course, we still got you covered right here on Atlantic Television Network. And it is still sport personality right here on Atlantic Television Network. And our sport personality for today is no longer any other person than João Fonseca. So he told you about his, of course, his time while growing up, and of course his love for the game, how he started very early at the age of 4. Brought you some of his career achievement, of course, some of the rankings thus far, and when he turned professional and how he received some, white cards to take part in some of the competition that I've seen him continue to grow up the ladder of the world of lawn tennis, and is currently the #1 ranked tennis player in Brazil, and of course making it to the world number 28, just this year, a few months ago. But then let's continue to bring you some of the achievement, of course, some of the glorious things that João Fonseca continued to do in the world of tennis, because Fonseca lifted his second challenger title at his very first tournament of the season, 2025 Canberra tennis tournament of the season. He was able to emerge victorious, defeating American Ethan Quinn in the final, recording his 10th consecutive win and reaching his new career height ranking of number 113 on January 2025. So his first major competition for the year, he also came out, glorious, where he was able to win that particular one, and then moved up to his best ranking as a tennis player, 113, massive, and that he achieved in 6th of January 2025, just earlier this year, where he was able to achieve that very well. And something comes with you winning laurels. In your first outing for the year as a rookie, as an upcoming tennis player, as you just turned professional new, taking part in your first major tournament for the year in January. Of course, he went all the way to win that particular one, and that had helped to, of course, increase his ranking, and he was able to hit to 113 in the world. First of his highest ranked, time as a tennis player. Meanwhile, he qualified for the Australian Open to make his major debut. Defeated 9th seed Andrei Rublev in straight set in his first major main draw match for his first top 10 victory, becoming the first teenager since Mario Hansik against Roger Federer in 2002 Wimbledon championship to beat a top 10 player in the first round of a Grand Slam event. So he became the 10th player, of course, one of the youngest to win 10 straight games, beating one of the big name, Andrei Rublev. He came up against a very strong Andrei Rublev, hard-serving player with experience, but then that did not deter João Fonseca as he went on, of course, beat him, and of course continue his progression and continue to make a mark and breaking ground. Fonseca made his top 100 debut on 27th of January 2025 at number 99 at the age of 18 years, 5 months and 6 days old. He became the youngest Brazilian to ever do so, surpassing Cássio Mota in that very record. João Fonseca became the youngest Brazilian in the Open era to reach an ATP semi-final at the 2025 Argentina Open, and the first man born in 2006 or later to reach a final. At 18 years, 5 months and 26 days, Fonseca became also the 10th youngest tour level finalist since 2000, and the youngest South American finalist since former world number 20 Argentine Jose Akasuso in 2021. With reaching the final, he entered the top 75 in the rankings, becoming the Brazilian #1 single player on 17th of February 2025. So he continued his progression, from world number 113 in January after winning his first major title for the year. He jumped up, from there to world number 75 as he continued his improvement and progression. Of course, the ranking is a clear indication and a testament of how, we continue to move from the one stage to another, because the ranking shows that there is a progression, it shows that there is a movement. And when you drop down the ranking, it means that something certainly is amiss. You need to work on yourself. But then instead of declining, he continued to climb the ladder of success, because he continued to improve from one ranking to another, from 665 to 350, from 350 to 200 and something, from 200 and something down to 113, from 113 to 75. And that is how the young man talking about João Fonseca has continued in his progression in the world of tennis. And more big things still await him, because he's still very much young. He has broken some record, of course, on his own, and continue to break grounds for good. João Fonseca, of course, he lifted his maiden tour level title with a straight set win over Francisco Ceredundo, becoming the youngest Brazilian to win an ATP title in the Open era. So, record-breaking one, becoming, the first Brazilian to win an Open title. Of course, continue to break ground, talking about João Fonseca. He was also the youngest South American champion and 10th youngest titleist in ATP Tour era since 1990. After that campaign, João Fonseca came back to his hometown event at the 2025 Rio Open, where he played in a singles draw and lost to Alexander Muller in the first round. So after coming to Europe to play one or two games, take part in some competition, he went back to Rio Open, where it all started for him. Yet he, of course, remained, the player that he was, that young talent that was so excited to break bounds and, of course, make it to a professional tennis player. He came back home where it all began and continued that impressive run of his, of course, making so many, record for himself. Fonseca received a wild card to the 2025 BNP Paribas Open tournament and lost in second round to the 13th seed and eventual champion, Jack Draper. So Jack Draper was the man that actually halted his fine and impressive run, at the Paribas Open. Of course, Jack Draper, you should know him very well, another great tennis player, just that he has not been consistent, and that is why we've seen names like Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner, Novak Djokovic, being at the top, doing great things, achieving laurels. But then for the names like Jack Draper, one of the popular names in the world of tennis, but it looks as though winning trophies, it's always very difficult for him. But then he's been around in the world of tennis, a very, very household name to those who follow tennis with keen interest. So this is the man that was able to knock out João Fonseca in the Paribas Open, where he was defeated in the second round of that tournament. And this man, talking about Jack Draper, after beating one of the best young talents in that competition, talking about the Paribas, he went all the way to win the Paribas Open 2025 after beating João Fonseca. So João Fonseca fell to the firepower of a big name in the world of tennis, Jack Draper, and he went all the way, talking about Jack Draper, to win that very one. So it clearly tells you that João Fonseca didn't just lose that particular one to, a player, but then one of the best, because he went all the way to, win the Paribas Open. So that defeat led him to play the following weeks in the 2025 Arizona Tennis Classic, where he won his second single challenger title, biggest of the series, at 175 for the season and fourth overall. So after the anger of getting eliminated in the Paribas Open, the young man went on to take part in yet another tournament, just to closing the gap and the points lost. And you know what? He went all the way to win it after losing that Paribas Open. This is doggedness, this is resilience, this is passion for the game, this is ability to improve and continue to make progress, because if you lose one, you are down but not out. For him, he thinks that he was down at the Paribas Open, but he wasn't out, as that actually pushed him, propelled him to take part in the next tournament. And of course, he went all the way to win that very one. And this is how massive, of a talent that is embedded within João Fonseca. And you know what? He became the first player to win an ATP 250 Challenger 175 and Challengers 125 trophy in the same season. You see what I'm telling you? This is a player that knows his worth. After losing the Paribas Open, he was so angry that he began to, of course, break more grounds, taking part in some of the major, competitions, and went all the way to win all those competitions as, we speak. At the 2025 Wimbledon Championship, on his debut at the tournament, Fonseca became the first Brazilian man to reach the third round since Thomas Bulusi in 2010, and the youngest man to reach the third round since Bernard Tomic in 2011. As a result, he reached the top 50 and on 14th of January 2025. After reaching the third round of the Cincinnati Masters 1000, he reached number 44th in the world, joining Flavio Serreta as one of the top 10 Brazilian tennis players in history. He also reached the second round of the US Open, where he was eliminated by number 22, Thomas Machak, and rose to number 42 in the rankings at that particular time. At the 2025 Swiss Indoor Basel, he won over defending champion Giovanni Pezzi Pericard in the first round. After a no-match victory in the second round by walkover of Jacob Mensik, Fonseca then defeated world number 23 and 9th seed Denis Shapovalov in quarterfinal, and world number 42 John Muna in the semis. Fonseca was crowned champion after his victory over number 18 and 8th seed Alejandro Davidovich Fokina in the final. As a result of that title, João Fonseca became the first Brazilian single player to win ATP 500 tournaments since the tournament designation was created in 2009, and also the second youngest player to lift a title in this level after Carlos Alcaraz. João Fonseca became the third youngest ATP 500 champion since the series began in 1990 with straight set victory over Alejandro Davidovich Fokina at a Swiss indoor. Meanwhile, the 19-year-old continued his rapid rise up the rankings by scooping up the biggest title of his career with a 6-3, 6-4 win over Spaniard, who hold a 0-5 record in tour level final. This new title has boosted his singles ranking to a career high of number 28. It is the biggest title of Fonseca's career to date, and the most notable achievement in the Brazilian tennis in men's singles since Coudence's title at the 2001 Cincinnati Masters. So it was a glorious one for him, rising to world number 28. Let's tell you about his financial status, because at least the man is doing pretty well. We're talking about his net net worth, João Fonseca's net worth is not public. Yes, it's not publicly disclosed, but his career prize money is over $2.5 million. That is about 4 billion Nigerian naira. So his fame and popularity of what he loves doing has brought him glory and wealth, and he continued to improve up the ranking. So this is where we draw the anchor for this morning edition of the show. We are really sorry. I must apologize for our online guest who should have joined us. He was finding it very, very difficult, of course, to lock horns with us, courtesy of the poor network from his own end, though. We really do apologize. Next time, we will surely bring you the voices of some of those tennis enthusiasts and experts. But then, this is where I'm tempted to, of course, drop the show this morning. Next Saturday, don't worry, we'll make a return for yet another bumper package of a sport personality. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways. More programs will come your way right here on Atlantic Television Network. And do also to go to our different social media handle and keep up the conversation. We'll definitely, of course, follow you back. Thanks for joining us this morning on the show.